Hi, Assalamualaikum you all. So for this chapter, you will learn about the photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is something you are familiar with. They are common process for the plant. Okay, so first one, okay, let me look on their definition. Okay, photosynthesis is actually the chemical process, okay, by which the green plants and other phototrophs synthesize organic compounds from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight. So what is other phototroph? Okay, you need to remember that for the photosynthesis, not only the green plant that able to produce their food using the photosynthesis, but they have another phototroph. What is another phototroph is like a seaweed or algae, or in the picture here you can look on. Okay, they give you three picture. So first and second picture is regarding to the algae, and the third picture is regarding to the prokaryote. Okay, we call as cyanobacterium. So all of these, including the green plant, they will be use the carbon dioxide and water in the presence of the light, and it will be produce their organic compound. What is the organic compound? Is the glucose, which is when you look on the reaction, okay, the general reaction of the photosynthesis, okay, they require the water, the CO2 with the light, so they able to produce C6H12O6, okay, that is a glucose, okay, and excrete also the oxygen. And this oxygen is really important for other organisms, okay, when they are excrete out from the plant body. Okay, for the photosynthesis, you also need to remember that what the types of the organelle that occur this process. Of course, you know that the organelles that we call as chloroplasts. Okay, so if, for example, you learn this one not through the online, actually you need able to draw the structure of the chloroplast. Okay, this structure of chloroplast actually found in the internal area of the leaf. So when you cross section your leaf, okay, so you can see that they have the vein. Okay, actually the vein is their xylem and phloem, which is in order to send the water, the dissolved material, and also the sugar, okay, for the metabolism of the leaf. And you can see the green color, okay, all of the green color is the mesophyll cell, and they have the stomata, okay, in the lower side of the leaf. So what is the function of the stomata? If you look on the illustration, you can see that, okay, they will be for the enter of CO2 and for the exit of the oxygen. Means their responsibility is for the exchange of the gases like CO2 and oxygen. And if we are more micro view on the mesophyll cell, okay, you can see they have a lot of the chloroplasts in there. So when we micro view the structure of chloroplasts, okay, you can see that the structure like a bean shape, which means they have the outer membrane, inner, between the outer and inner membrane, they have the intermembrane space. Okay, so inside these all membranes, they have the green color. Okay, so for me, I call as the collection of the coins. Okay, so the collection of the coins, one collection, and they have many collection of the coins. So one collection of coins, okay, if you look on that, we can call as granum. Okay, so inside every granum, okay, they are stuck of the thylakoid, which is inside the thylakoid they have the thylakoid space. Okay, that is the most important area or site in the chloroplast that you need to always remember. Okay, because for the light reaction they occur in the thylakoid membrane. Alright, and if you look on that, okay, the thylakoid, the granum, they are floating in the area that we call as the stroma. Okay, so you need to able imagine, okay, the structure of the chloroplast. Okay, when after this we learn about the light reaction and we learn about the dark reaction. Because for the dark reaction, they not occur in the same area as light reaction. So they occur at the stroma, okay, not at the thylakoid membrane. But for the light reaction, they happen in the thylakoid membrane. Okay, so now we look on the structure of chloroplast. For the structure of chloroplast, okay, the main point or the main area, of course, they are the leaf. Okay, why leaf? Because leaf is the major organ for photosynthesis. So inside the leaf, we have the chloroplast. Where we can get the chloroplast, they embedded in the mesophyll. So where the most mesophyll is actually in the internal area of the leaf. So inside the mesophyll, we also have the stomata as we learned in our previous slide. Okay, we have the stomata. So what function stomata? For the carbon dioxide enter the leaf and for the oxygen exit from the leaf. Okay, so inside a typical mesophyll cell, actually they have a lot of the chloroplast. So they have one cell, actually they have 30 to 40 chloroplasts. Okay, and if the size of chloroplast is small, so it's about 2 to 4 micrometer. If they have a large chloroplast, so the size should be 4 to 7 micrometer. Okay, and when we look just now on their structure of chloroplast, they have the envelope, which is they have the inner, outer and intermembrane, where this we call as envelope. Okay, so this envelope enclose the stroma, okay, which is a stroma is the dense fluid, okay, within the chloroplast. Okay, so inside the stroma we have the elaborate system, means we have a lot of interconnected membranous sac, which is you can see before they have a lot of the granule. Granule, they are interconnected with other granule. So if in the singular we call as granule, but if many columns, okay, many granules, so we call as grana. Okay, so the chlorophyll is actually reside in the thylakoid membrane. Okay, so this one is the illustration of overview between the two process in the photosynthesis, which is we call as light reaction and we call as Calvin cycle. So if you look on this, you can imagine this one is the structure of one chloroplast, which is the green color is the granule, where inside the granule they have the thylakoid, which is they have the thylakoid membrane. Okay, where the light reaction could be occur there, and after that they have the Calvin cycle. And if you can look on the where actually Calvin cycle occur, they occur in the stroma. Okay, so in the process, okay, can you recall back, okay, what actually the main reaction of the photosynthesis? Of course, they require CO2 and water, and at last they produce the sugar, which is the glucose and the oxygen. So because the photosynthesis, they have to process, so the first raw material, which is a water and CO2 also should be separate, which is the water is required for the light reaction and the CO2 is required for the Calvin cycle. Okay. So first we look on the light reaction. Okay, light reaction, they require the presence of the light, okay, using a water, and they produce the oxygen. Okay, regarding to the process, they will be produce ATP and NADPH. Okay, then this Calvin cycle, they use the ATP and NADPH because this one is the source of the energy. Okay, they use, okay, with the CO2 and they able to produce the sugar, okay, for the plant metabolism. metabolism. And of course, it will be reduced. ATP and NADPH, ATP to ADP plus PI. Okay, for NADPH will be reduced to NADP plus. Okay, now this one is only the additional knowledge on you regarding to the heterotroph and autotroph. So if you look on the slide, okay, which is you can see, okay, what is the autotroph? What is the organism that you can categorize under the heterotroph? So for the autotroph, that are an organism that obtains their organic food molecules without eating other organisms or substances, okay, that derive from other organisms. Means, okay, they use the energy from the light or from the oxidation of inorganic substances, okay, to make the organic molecules from the inorganic ones. So what means here, they are using the light and oxidation of inorganic substances. Okay, what is the inorganic substances? Of course, they are the CO2 and also the water, okay, for the photosynthesis. And they make an organic molecule, which is a glucose. Okay, and for the autotroph, they know as a producer. Okay, so if we look on this one, heterotroph, we can call as a consumer. So for this one, you can call back your food chain, okay, or food web, which is they have the producer, which is the plant, and they have the different animals as a consumer. Okay, so of course in the group of autotroph, they are the plant or another phototroph that I called you previous slide, which is like algae or like the cyanobacteria. Okay, different to the heterotroph, which is heterotroph is an organism that obtain their organic food, which is obtain their food, okay, by eating another organism, and they do not make their own food. So they know as a consumer. Example can be all the animal, okay, can be all the humans, okay, can be also the decomposer, okay, which is a fungi and the bacteria, okay, that are decompose, okay, their organic, okay, their organic as their food. Okay, this one is like the importance of the photosynthesis. So how does the photosynthesis help us, help the human? Okay, so when the oxygen is released from the plant through the photosynthesis, of course, they are really essential for all the living organisms, okay, for their respiration process. Okay, number two, because we as a heterotroph, we cannot make our own food. So because of that, what is important of the photosynthesis for the second one? Of course, we need the plant, we need the photosynthesis because we get our food, okay, we get our source of the sugar is from the plant. Okay, because the plant is in the first step, okay, for the food chain or for the food web. Okay, so this one is the picture of food web. Okay, and for the photosynthesis, of course, you learn about the light because the photosynthesis only can be occur with the presence of the light. If not present the light, so the photosynthesis could not be occur. So the light, okay, they have the energy. They actually the form of energy. Okay, so that form of energy we know as electromagnetic energy, or we can call also as a electromagnetic radiance. Okay, so you know that the light, okay, they are coming as a wave, electromagnetic wave, and every different wave, okay, from one to another one wave, they have their wavelength. So this wavelength they have range, okay, from the shortest, which is from the less than nanometer, okay, like the gamma ray or like the X-ray or they have the longer, longer wavelength, which is more than kilometer, such as the radio wave. So because of that, you are still able to hear the songs that you are like, from the radio or from the television, because they have the long wavelength. So all this entire range of the radiation we call as a electromagnetic spectrum. So in all the electromagnetic spectrum, the most important spectrum that you need to remember is start 380 nanometer to 750 nanometer. Why you always need to remember for this spectrum? Because using this spectrum from 380 to 750 nanometer of their wavelength, so you able see different color using your naked eyes. So all the color that are detected using your eyes, actually because you are actually absorb the wavelength 380 to 750. So the light also they have the energy. So this energy, because they have the discrete particle that you can call as photon. So you need to always remember photon is the form energy of light. So regarding to the wavelength and the energy of the light, so you need to note that, or you need to lock in your mind, the shorter the wavelength, so the greater the energy of each photon of the light. Means if long wavelength, so they may have the lower energy, compared to the shorter wavelength. So if you look on here, so this one is what I missed just now. It's regarding to the electromagnetic spectrum, which is from the nanometer until to the meter, which is until to the radio wave. But what the main point of the spectrum that you need to remember is start from 380 to the 750, that makes you able to see the different color, including the color of the leaf, which is a green. So if shorter wavelength means they have the higher energy. If they have the longer wavelength means they have the lower energy. So in the leaf also, if they do not have the pigment, or the receptor, they still cannot do their photosynthesis. Because this pigment, they are the substance that absorb the visible light. Remember also in the leaf, they do not have only a pigment, which is a primary pigment, but they also have another pigment, which is we call as the accessory pigment. So all the different pigments, they absorb light at the different wavelength. So you need to remember that. The keyword there, different pigments absorb different wavelength. So because of that, different pigments, they may show different color. The most important part regarding to the reflection of the color is why the leaf color is green. Because their chlorophyll absorb the violet, blue and the red light, and they are transmitting and reflect the most color is the green. So because of that, you can see the color of the leaf is green color. This one is regarding to what I tell you just now. When the pigment absorb the energy from the light, what the color that you can see from your eyes is regarding to color that they are most reflected and most transmitted. So you can see that color. And the right side is the structure of the chlorophyll. So they have the head and they have the tail. Inside the middle of the head, you can see that for the chlorophyll, this one is structure of the chlorophyll. So if, for example, this one is the structure for the chlorophyll A, so they have the CH3. But if CH3 is replaced by the CHO, so it might be changed from the chlorophyll A and become the chlorophyll B. So that's only difference between structure of chlorophyll A and B. Alright, so for the accessory pigment, as I told you just now, okay, not only they have the primary pigment, okay, you need to always remember all the plant they should be have one types of primary pigment, which is chlorophyll A. However, all different types or different species of the plant, they may have different accessory pigment, which is all the pigment except chlorophyll A. So means chlorophyll B, C, D, or the carotenoid or the fucoxanthin, all of these we call as accessory pigment. So what is the accessory pigment? Okay, accessory pigment is the photosynthetic pigment that trap the light. So they have a similar responsibility, okay, as the chlorophyll A. However, they have the additional work, which is when they are trap the light, or they trap the energy of light, and they should be channeled into the chlorophyll A, because chlorophyll A is the primary pigment, which is it can be initiate the reaction of the photosynthesis. So all of these accessory pigment, they are embedded in the thylakoid space. Okay, because this one is play a big role in the light reaction, okay, as well as to produce the ATP. So because of that, they embedded together, okay, chlorophyll, cytochrome B, F, and also the ATP synthase. Okay, so this thylakoid membrane surrounded, okay, by the fluid stroma, okay, or by stroma, which is in the stroma they have the all enzyme that work in the Calvin cycle, or the famous or the most important enzyme in the Calvin cycle we call as rubisco. And also for the DNA of the plant, you can find it also in the stroma. Okay, now is the pigment. Okay, the first one is the uh, primary pigment, which is chlorophyll A, and you have the accessory pigment, which is chlorophyll B, C, and also the carotenoid. So as I mentioned before, okay, different pigments, they may absorb different wavelength. So if you can look here, chlorophyll A, so the color when you are extract the leaf, so if you found that the color should be blue green, so that is the chlorophyll A. If, for example, the color is yellow green, means that is the chlorophyll B. Okay, or the chlorophyll C, the color is looks like the chlorophyll A, which is also blue green. So how about the carotenoid? Carotenoid is when you are extract, so the color should be from the yellow to orange. Okay, so if you look on that, they may have different color. Why different color? Because they absorb different wavelength. So for the chlorophyll A, they have in all of the phototropic organism. Okay, however, okay, for the other accessory pigment, it can be have in certain plant species and it may be absent in the certain plant species. Okay, so under carotenoid you have the fucoxanthin, which is this fucoxanthin also one of the accessory pigment. Okay, in the brown seaweed, okay, and also in the diatom. So both of these is under algae group. Alright, so now we go to the last part for this slide, which is excitation of chlorophyll by light. Okay, actually for the photosynthesis, they are using the theory of the excitation of chlorophyll. So if you look on here, they are more to theory on like a chemistry, which is electron from the ground state. It will be when they are receive the energy, it will be excited to the excited state. Okay, they are similar what happened during the photosynthesis, which is, okay, they have the chlorophyll molecule, and inside the chlorophyll molecule, of course, they have their electron. So when the chlorophyll molecule, they absorb the light. So this electron will be receive the energy and it will be excited, okay, to the excited state. So when they are excited, okay, it will be then immediately down back to the ground state, which is down back to the chlorophyll molecule. In this time, it will be released some excess energy, okay, which is they will release as heat and they will show the fluorescent color. So this one is, okay, when we do the experiment, okay, regarding to the excitation, so they show the fluorescent color. Okay. Okay, now we look on the still similar things, but here is their explanation, which is when the um, chlorophyll is absorb the photon energy, okay, from the light. So the chlorophyll molecule will be excited from its ground state to its excited state, as I mentioned before. So because of that, this photon energy will be boost, okay, an electron to an orbital where it has more potential energy, means at their excited state. Okay, so they have more potential energy. So at the excited state, it will be immediately drop back down to the ground state orbital and it will be released its excess energy is the given of, okay, as heat and also the fluorescent. So fluorescent is represent for the light. Okay, that's all for today. So after this, we will look on the light reaction and Kelvin cycle.